took so long to get this out. I have been insanely busy behind the scenes, and I apologize for that. But let's talk about May. Gotta get started because we have a lot to cover, and I can barely do it in a normal time frame. May 1st starts out a power-packed month full of all of this energy going into Gemini. Now, for Cancers, Gemini energy is weird. Cancer energy, we can be, I always say we because I am a Leo on the cusp of Cancer, but primarily most of my degrees, my high degrees are all in Cancer, and I have a lot of Cancer placements in my chart. So I feel very much like a Cancer. I really don't resonate all that much with my Leo energy. I mean, I guess I am a Leo. I like to dress up. I like to look different. I like to be flashy, but for the most part, primarily I resonate with the Cancers out there. And so I feel like Cancers have been going through just so much, like internal processing. And this month is a deep month for you. This month is what goes on behind the scenes. This is what goes on in your sweet little Cancer shells when nobody's looking. This is the person you are when nobody sees you. Now, for most Cancers, I find that when nobody's looking, I find we feel the most secure, which is the strangest thing because most people find their identity through people, but I think that Cancers primarily find their identities through their self, through hanging out in their shell. When a Cancer goes in this shell, many people don't understand the process that happens, and I do. When my day is overwhelming, when it has been task-oriented, when it has been about meeting everybody else's needs and nurturing the whole entire world, Cancers need to go in their shell. They need to go in there. They need to recharge their batteries. It's where we work best. We actually work best behind the scenes when nobody's looking, when we don't have to worry about nurturing the whole freaking world. So 12th house energy, which is what's going to be going on a lot this month, 11th and 12th house energy, is a place where I think that you do really well. If it's in its highest vibration, in the energy's lowest vibration of this month, you could become melancholy, you could become depressed, you could reminisce and get stuck in the past of all of the daggers that you have been carrying around forever. You can get stuck there. You don't want to get stuck in that part of your shell, Cancers. What's past is past. And literally what's past is past. Now, here's the kicker this month. For us past-bound bearers, and that's what I like to call us, because we think about the past, we manifest strength by going over the past. We don't like to make mistakes twice because they're very, very painful for us. We feel everything. And so I find that it's very, very important above all else for Cancers to have this downtime, 12th house downtime. Pluto is going to be retrograde. Mercury on the 18th of this month is going to be retrograde in Gemini. And Saturn is retrograde in Sagittarius. There's a lot of past work. Plus, you're going to be spending a lot of time in your 12th house, in your karmic house, in the house of the past. It's your karmic debt house. So for you, there's a lot to look at. A lot. And so let's start going over it because I don't want to run too long, which I just feel like talky, chatty Cassie right now. It must be all this Gemini energy is making me just talk too freaking much. We start out the month with Mercury entering Gemini. And it's home in this energy. When Mercury goes home, that means you just communicate effectively. It comes easy to you. You don't find that same inner struggle that you may find sometimes when Mercury isn't aspecting you quite so beneficially. Cancers, are oversensitive when in regards to communication with others. At times, we can come off like we don't feel anything. I'm not interested in you. I don't look your way. I passionately want you, but I'm never going to show you. I'm never going to look your way. You know, you have to look my way. You have to pursue me. It's kind of the dance of a Cancer, but you're not going to be this way. You're not going to be this way because Mercury is going to make you want to shine through conversation. So you may want to go up to people. You may find that you just have the nerve to just be who you are. Like you just went through Pluto Uranus squares and just rocked those bitches. I mean, that's the way you're going to feel. So you have all this strength within you, in your ego, within your soul, that you deserve things that you didn't think you used to deserve. You deserve happiness. That's the way you truly believe and feel. So I think this energy is going to be wonderful, if you ask me. In the beginning of the month. In the end of the month, all hell's going to break loose. And I'm going to be just honest with you. Now, on May 11th, Mars enters Gemini. And when Mars enters Gemini, there's two ways the energy can go. Now, Mars, when it is Cancer influenced, is a passive-aggressive energy. It's an aggressive energy. It's just a passive-aggressive energy. So for you, you're going to find that if you're mad, you're going to resort to probably manipulation techniques in order to let others know that you're mad. But you are going to get mad in the month of May. You most definitely will. With passionate Mars in Gemini, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to say something that's going to make you overly sensitive because people aren't going to communicate well in May. They're going to say stupid crap. They're going to say insensitive crap to you. I'm gonna lay it out because Mars makes you have diarrhea of the mouth. It just does. Have you ever met an Aries? Sometimes they just talk without thinking. They say whatever's on their mind. They'll just look at you and say, "Yep, you're fat. You're a fat hoe." Like, and you're gonna be like, "What did you say?" There's I love Cancers because they're like, there was just a better way to say that. This is going to be going on in your head because you're going to be mad. You're going to be like, you could have said that she did not look ideally wonderful in that dress, that you preferred her in a different dress. Like you're going to know the words to say to be sensitive to the things that people are insensitive about. You would never talk like that. Like I never talk without thinking things through when it comes to sensitive subjects with people. I know how it feels to be hurt, and I analyze before I talk everything I say because I know that everything I say can hurt. Now I have an Aries moon that doesn't always allow me to have that forethought, I guess. And so sometimes when my Aries moon is fired up, I have diarrhea of the mouth, and I always freaking regret it. Always. Because then I have to go back and apologize, write long emails, tell people that I apologize, and I give them an entire list of things. And that's because of the Cancer reflection in me. That is because I deeply know that there's a sweet spot in everybody. Now, I've been hearing that Cancers are extremely self-oriented. No. I'm going to tell you something about Cancers that you don't know. I live the life of a Cancer. And I'm getting a lot of messages from people who think that Cancer males are just these horrible self-oriented people that don't have any feelings. They do. They do, but they hide them in their shell. I do it. Because I'm a more masculine energy. I have all kinds of masculine energy in me. I primarily think I resonate more with a male Cancer energy than I do the classic, even though Cancer energy is feminine, there are masculine, there can be a masculine energy, like a father type energy, even in a nurturing energy, like a male Cancer. And I think I just have much more masculine approach to being a Cancer than the feminine side of it, just because I have so much masculine energy. So I think kind of like a guy. And when I think like a guy, I think like a guy Cancer. And if I want somebody, they have to pursue me. If I want somebody, they have to put up with my sidewinder ways. Like, one minute I seem to want you and I'll be passionate about you, but then I won't freaking contact you forever. And you're going to be like, oh, this person's new. No, because you're supposed to pursue me, because I'm off walking sideways until you do. Like, Cancer males are very different from Cancer females. And to understand Cancer energy, you can't just lump Cancers all in together, because male roles and female roles are different in Cancer and in any sign. So don't say that they're insensitive. They lock their feelings away in their shell and they don't ever let you see them. And it's only when they go into their 12th house area, it's only when they go into the deepest parts of their shell, when they regress and go back into their past, do they visit those dark places, because they're so dark. And Cancers don't like to be in the dark. They have to be in the light all the time. So don't think that this person, this Cancer that left your life for somebody else, or this Cancer that did something to you, because no, there was something going on the whole time you had no freaking clue about. I can guarantee you they have been fighting with you for a really long time before they left you, if that's the case. If you're watching to try to understand your Cancer partner. I digress. So back to the issue in May, which it has to probably do with. On May 18th, then we have Mercury goes into retrograde in Gemini. This halts communication. This halts communication for you because you need to go into your shell, you need to go into your 12th house, and you need to start thinking about everything that you've been going through for a really long time. This is a very important placement for you. This is where you regenerate. This is where you figure out where you went wrong, so you don't ever get hurt again, and you make progress in making your shell stronger. And this is a very important time for you. But to people, you are going to look self-oriented and you are going to look self-absorbed, because you're not out there nurturing them and taking care of them like you always do. You're going to be taking care of yourself. You're going to be working on things that you have to do. Pluto, Saturn, and Mercury are all going to be in the past. They're going to be in retrograde. And they're going to be all in places. Think about it. Pluto is retrograding in Capricorn, your earth, your foundation, how you remain stable. Pluto is going to be in retrograde in Capricorn, how you remain stable, how you find solid ground to build a foundation on. Saturn is going to be in retrograde in Sagittarius. This is the higher mind. This is how you naturally flow. Because I believe that Cancers work in their higher mind a lot. They are always fine-tuning their mind. And for you, this is going to be maybe a spiritual quest for you at this time. This is going to be for you to look at your life and figure out where there was once peace. And then how do you get back to that peaceful point because you just went through a major breakdown period in ego. And then with Mercury in retrograde in Gemini, this is going to be about how many friends have you lost? Why have you lost friends? What were the common denominators in these losses? Loss is a big deal to Cancers. Every time they lose something, themselves, feelings, money, stability, it affects them and they digress and go into their shell. It's a very deep sign. It's very difficult for me to understand, and I am a fracking Cancer. I live in Cancer head, and I don't understand me half the time. So how could I expect people who love me to understand me? Now, I want to start out by talking about the full moon. There's a full moon on May 3rd, and it's going to be in Scorpio. Now, for you, Scorpio energy is good. Now, this is something I play with. This is just my own personal take on water energy. Scorpio is the darker energy. It's the deepest energy. It's where secrets and latent things lie, jealousy, obsession, anything ruled by Pluto, right? It lies in there. And that's why when there's a Scorpio moon for a Cancer, it is a hard moon. Every time I have lived through a full moon in Scorpio, my life gets rocked to the core, because it's an emotional moon. It's an intense moon. And for the most part, Cancers don't like intensity, because that means they've got to go hide in their shell and hide from the big, bad, intense world. And this is an intense moon, because it's met with opposition. So anytime you have a full moon, there's accumulation, there's endings. The word ending to a Cancer is a horrible word. It is the worst word to be called. It is the worst thing that you could possibly say to a Cancer, because they can't handle loss. Their claws like to hold on to things, which is why they spend so much time, in their past going over things and holding on to people that they shouldn't, because their claws can't let go, because then that means loss is coming, and loss is the scariest thing to a Cancer. Again, that's going to pull out some of this 12th house energy stuff. Now, 12th house is the closet where you put everything in that you don't want to look at. It's where you throw everything. It's where you throw all your emotional baggage. It's where you throw all those pictures of your exes that you can't quite throw away because you're a Cancer, but you can't see them either because they cause you pain. It's past hobbies. It's past sizes of dresses or clothes that you can't throw away, because that's when you were ideal, so you holding on. It's the place where we hold all of our garbage. It's also the place of karmic debt. It's also the place where karma comes into you and makes you accountable for all of your past undoings. So for you, who spends a lot of time in their past, the 12th house is a house where you're very familiar with, but you don't like going in that closet. You don't like going there. So this intense moon is very traumatic for you, because it's met with opposition. Mercury in Taurus and Mars in Taurus are going to be opposing Saturn during this moon. And Neptune in Pisces, your sister sign, is going to be opposing Saturn. So normally Saturn, Scorpio moons can be a beneficial moon for you, but for you this is just so intense and so deep and so hard. Expect to digress into yourself. Go into your shell. Nurture yourself. This is a selfish month. This is a month for you. They can nurture themselves. You can nurture them later, but this is a time for you to nurse old wounds. You have a lot of them. Pluto-Uranus squares are intense. You need to start licking some wounds and fine-tuning your life, okay? On the 7th, Venus moves into Cancer. Now, Venus moving into Cancer is wonderful for you, because you're just going to be more beautiful. You're just going to resonate. You are just going to have an attraction that you didn't have. So even though right now you're really not going to want to attract attention, guess what? You're not going to have much of a choice, because you're going to attract attention whether you want it or not, because you're going to be beautiful. Venus is the planet of beauty. Not only will you be beautiful, but you will be just enchanting, fun to be around. I mean, Cancer at a high vibration is a blast. They want to cook people food. They want to give them a warm place to have a party in. Like, that's their kind of energy when they're in a great place. And that's the kind of energy you're going to have on the 7th. Then on the 14th and 15th, I want to talk about with you. Now, the 14th and the 15th, I'm concerned about for everybody. For you, the 14th and the 15th is going to be in your 12th house. So Mars and the Sun are going to be opposing Saturn. So this is a past issue. This is something that's nagging at you, something that's bothering you. Maybe your home life isn't as homey as you want it to be. Cancers find their ego in home and family. they find if they have a beautiful family around them, if they are nurturing that family, that's when the ego of a Cancer fully manifests its truest self. That's when it becomes its highest vibration. If a Cancer's family is not secure, if a Cancer is somehow being taken advantage of, or if there's some sort of loss in that family, then Cancer is just off. Their energy is off, and the energy is off. So for most Cancers that I have been talking to, their home life is a mess. It's a shambles. You are under construction. You are in a time of rebuilding. And so all this opposition to you in areas like passion and your ego and in your spiritual realms, it's just causing you to be scattered in all of this energy, because you've got to remember that all of this energy is in Gemini, and Gemini is a very scattered energy. You're not going to know, your shell isn't going to quite work. You're going to run into your shell, but it's not going to work. You're going to want to run home, but the chaos is at home. At work, everybody's in drama mode. And so you don't have a place where it's a safe shell for you to just hide in, for you to just, recharge and rebuild. I really encourage meditation during this time. Please meditate. Please find a light source for you to tap into. This is an extremely important month for you to learn positive coping methods at the height of when all hell breaks loose and it doesn't seem like there's any solid ground for you to find your shell. Now, then on the 17th, you have a new moon in Taurus. Now, normally, I would be very excited about this moon for you, because Cancer and Taurus energy are just, they're ultimate lovers. And I think that that's why I just secretly want to end up with a Taurus, is because these lovers, when they get together, there is just nothing that they can't manifest. Oh, sorry, I'm so uncomfortable. Okay. There is nothing that these two can't manifest together when they're doing their ballet together. However, during this new moon, there is going to be opposition. And that's going to set the tone till the following new moon. And so normally this would be a time of harvesting, of getting ahead, of looking about how you value yourself and really going over Taurus energy. However, for you and everybody else, this is going to be in your 11th house. So to me, I believe that others may hold the key to you figuring out a very important question. Now, for you, you're going to want to run and hide. You're going to want to run into your shell. The world's a big bad world right now, and you have just went through so much drama that you don't feel happy in this moon. So when you do this, you shut everybody out and you make sure that nobody can penetrate your safe shell, right? But others are going to hold the key. This is in your 11th house. So either the 11th house, either people are the problem, or maybe a hope and a dream that you wanted maybe just didn't quite manifest in the way you want it, or maybe it blew up and you just don't know what to do with it. But whatever it is, you are going to want to hide on this new moon. I can guarantee it. And there's a yod. Now, a yod is a question by the universe that it proposes for you to take a look at. When a yod happens, it is a secret room within inside yourself. The top of the yod is a teepee, and the bottom of the yod is a sextile. So teepee is here, bottom of the yod is kind of like there. I had a little diagram. And the top of your teepee is Pluto. Now, Pluto's the darkest realms of you. It's where the latent issues, it's where secrets, it's where ulterior motives lie. It's where oppression lies, and it's where secret obsessions lie. Like, it's the darker parts of you, right? There's something up there. There's something that's limiting you. There's fear. There's a fear in you, and I know this. There's a fear of opportunity. I can see that. And the reason why I know that there's a fear of opportunity is because in this yod, Jupiter is in Leo. And this is nothing but a power pack opportunistic energy. And so you are afraid of this energy. It's igniting a fear in you. And that's a very personal journey with all of you. I can't say what that fear is. I can't help you figure out your yod. I can tell you this. It's deep. It's because your 12th house is going to be the place where you start pulling out all of the answers to this yod. I can guarantee you. Now, the bottom of a yod is a sextile. So you have two energies right here. Here's the top of one energy, and there's two energies on this side. And these are called quincunxes, these two sides of your TP. And when there's a quincunx, they are opposing each other. These energies completely oppose each other, right? There's no meeting in the middle. They just flat out oppose each other, and they are having power struggles, right? So Mercury in Gemini and Jupiter in Leo are opposing Pluto completely. So this latent issue is not something you want to face. This dark issue is not something you're going to want to look at, because you know what? You can't, but you're not going to be able to get away from it because you're in your 12th house right now. You're not going to be able to. Now the key to the whole energy is the sextile at the very bottom of your TP. And at this end and this end, Mercury is in Gemini and Jupiter is in Leo. This is a benefic energy, and Mercury working at its highest vibration could be very benefic for you as well. These two are having a conversation about getting you ahead. These two want you to manifest your reality. But there's oppression and suppression from Pluto and from Saturn during all of these energies that is making you is forcing you to look at the darkest parts of yourself. Through the sextile between these two energies, the benefic energies, the higher vibration of these energies, there's an entrance to a secret room within you in your 12th house. And when you get into here, there's a table. And on this table, there is a coded message that you need to figure out. That you need to find the key to get in this secret room. Okay? And that's after you've got to get through your sextile first. The reason I bring up this complicated subject is because from now on, from the Mercury in retrograde all the way to the end of the month, and it actually this yod started up in April. I was looking back and found the yod in April. There's a question looming. And it's always in these same energies, except for there was some time that it spent with Venus and Gemini. But for the most part, Pluto has been the main player, and Jupiter and Leo has been the main player. So there's some opposition, some strong opposition within inside of yourself between good versus evil. And the sextile is the key to figuring that out. You've got to go through strong opposition this month. You've got to face things head on. Communication is not going to be the key because communication is blocked. Communication devices are not going to help you, because if you start to communicate and you want to pour your heart and soul out to everybody and start to feel sorry for yourself, guess what? It's not going to be very beneficial for you. And the reason why is because Mercury is in retrograde. And so you're not going to get ahead by pouring your heart out like you like to sometimes do and cry your heart out over something if you are female. Cancer. Understand the sun, Mars, Venus, and the moon are all opposing these energies at some point throughout the entire end of the month, and Neptune and Pisces. And the reason why I say this is because the veil is being taken off. There was a illusion that you had, or a delusion that you had, about the way that you approach life. It's ego-based. It's emotion-based. It's based on relationships. You're the key. You're the problem in this yod. The way that you do something is not right. And for you to find happiness in your emotions, your your ego, in relationships, in how you push forward is to conquer a fear. But what fear? What fear is it that you can't face? It's in your deep, dark chocolate layer in that 12th house. It's in the darkest place that you hide. So what's in there? You got to figure it out. It's through the whole end of the month. You're going to struggle internally. Friends hold a key. I know that friendships have something to do with this. Looking at the energy, your new moon was in Taurus in the 11th house. There's a key to a friendship thing. Perhaps you lost a lot of friends. There was a latent issue that with a bunch of friends, and you noticed that all of your friends left you during the Pluto-Uranus squares. What were the key? I know in my life, I already figured out that part. I was the problem. I love narcissists, and I like to nurture narcissists and make them feel good despite my own personal needs. And I've already figured out that part of me. I've already, through the Pluto-Uranus squares, I've got a big missing piece to my puzzle. I knew that my friendships were damaging my well-being, my mental well-being, only after the last Pluto-Uranus square, though. I can honestly say that's when I truly figured out everything. That I'm the issue. I'm my problem. And that's hard for Cancers. Because we worked really, really, really hard living in our past not to be problems for others and not to be problems for themselves. So, dear Cancers, it's a powerful month. It's a month of manifestation. It's a month of progression. Look at it this way. This is the way I'm trying to point it out to everybody. You're in a cocoon right now, and the cocoon is in stormy weather. And the rain is beating down on this cocoon and making it soggy. And you wonder if you're in the middle of transformation. Your home is being bombarded with an element that may not make you able to transform into that majestic butterfly. You need your home to stay strong, yet there is so much opposition trying to take your home away from you. Don't let this happen. Don't. You're strong. You're a strong Cancer. You made it through the hardest years that Cancers have seen in many years. You have been met with great opposition, and you have conquered this opposition, and you are a fierce energy to be reckoned with. You are no longer a weak Cancer. Don't you let people get to you. Don't you let friends back into your life. A lot of people come back from your life in the past, from the past in retrogrades. Don't let people come back that can generate weaknesses just because they're safe, just because they have that feeling of home that you're so used to. Because the reason why you hold on to people in the past is because it's familiarity and you like that. Don't go backward. Do not. This is not the time to step in the past. We are moving forward. There is no support in past energy. There is opposition in past energy. Move forward with yourself, Cancers. You're going to make it through this month. You're going to be strong after this month. You're going to figure out your yod, and then you're going to be fierce again. Like, everybody's like, when is this energy going to end? You are never done changing. We are in the year of transformation. It's a year of transformation. I've been watching numerology videos, and I don't really know a lot about numerology, but there is something to be said for what goes on in numerology, and this is a year of major manifestation and transformation. And so don't expect that you're going to figure it out in a few months and have the rest of the year is going to be great. No, the good part is the transformation. That's the part we've been waiting for, not getting just beat down, but to actually transform the energy into something wonderful. May is starting that out. For the next 6 months, we're fine-tuning what happened to us and manifesting change. So, dear Cancers, I want, if you have a hard time this month and emotionally you can't take it, go to my Facebook page, go look at my daily readings and my energy readings, and we're going to work through it together. There's a great forum that's starting to happen. People are just starting to support each other through these energy days, and it's just taking on a life of its own. You're not alone. and you can still maintain that 12th house distance behind the scenes. I don't know how much, luck you're going to have through a computer, because a lot of the communication issues or the communication devices are going to be malfunctioning. But, and I hope that I can follow through, with communicating with you, because, all the crazy energy. However, I've talked a ton. All this Gemini energy is making me talk too much. My times are going to be too long this month. I love all you, and I look forward to seeing you again next month.